Hello everybody and welcome back again. My name is Ender6 Steven and today, welcome y'all faces back to Katawa Shoujo. So, let's jump straight in. Right, go. Okay. I keep searching the cabins and shelves for Mishra's things, but after enough time passes, the silence grows too uncomfortable, so I try to force some conversation out of this strange girl. So, do you always eat alone and this late, or do you get the occasional visitor? Visitors? Maybe you're my first occasional visitor, but I don't always eat alone either. Sometimes I eat with a certain person on the roof, if she's not horsing around. Horsing? She likes to do sports. Oh. That's all I can think to say. I think that she was talking about the other one we seen in the previous episode. You know, the one who didn't have legs. I think she's talking about her because she does sports. And she does seem very hyper. So I think it might be her that she's talking about. Both of us fall silent again as Rin forks the last bit of her meal to her mouth. I look down at my little hull and double check it with Mishra's list. It seems I have everything except plywood. So I think I have all the things now. That's very nice for you. Don't feel object to stay. I was about to take a nap anyway. You need to do whatever you're going to do with that stuff anyway, right? Or perhaps you like to watch girls sleeping. Huh? I'm not sure what to make out of this, but Rin looks serious. Even if I did, I think I'll have to be going. I'll catch you around, Kujada? You can call me Rin. I feel that our relationship is at this point good enough to warrant this much. What relationship? I was already turning to make my exit, but she draws me back in. Fine. Then I'm Hisao. Then you are. Rin looks at me hard in the eyes, but that intimidating feeling when you get someone stares at you isn't there. It's like she's actually not looking at me at all. She blinks a couple of times, and I can't figure out why a pause like this just popped between us out of nowhere. See you later, Hisao. There's something like a tiny smile there on her face. Maybe. I quietly back out the room as I shut the door in front of my face. I whisper to myself, what an intriguing person. From inside, I hear a muffled and sing-song voice. I heard that. What did she hear? I jumped at the sudden appearance of Mishra, who had not heard approaching, despite the completely empty hallway. Somehow, she had forgotten to jumping distance of me without making a sound. Creepy. It briefly reminds me of Kenji's nutty theory about a global feminist conspiracy, but I pushed that thought aside. Shinatun, standing silent behind Mishra, looks aloof as she can't have heard the remark that drew Mishra's attention. But Mishra is visually excited. God damn it. No, wait. More priority. Who is in there? There's no club meetings today. She tries to curious peek past me, even though the door prevents her from seeing anyway. What are you doing here? You took so long that we had to come and check. What's wrong? That's no good, Hit-chan. She wags her finger at me scoldingly. I found plywood, but everything else is still missing because you are tardy. Sorry? I got the things here. I was just going to bring them. I think you were up to some mischief, Hit-chan. Who was in there with you, I wonder? Mishra stands quickly to Shinatun, pointing at her own ear a couple of times. Shina immediately pushes her way past me and opens the door into the classroom I just left. I can only imagine the shock she is experiencing, with Shinatun's delight and attitude and the I can't speak. What the hell's up with me? The insolence of daring to deface school property by sleeping on top of it must be too much to bear. And indeed she stares at Rin, frozen in place from the sight, but noticeable trembling of her shoulders from suppressing rage, I'm sure. Instead of blowing up, she just takes a few deep breaths, adjusts the glasses, and slams the door shut, turning to sign furiously at Mishita. Why is she so peeved at me? Maybe she did blow up, but I can't understand it. So he shoots a very loaded stare at me too, as if it was somehow my fault that Rin is sleeping on one of the tables. I hope she's not getting any funny ideas about the reason of my tardiness. Hello. Rin's voice comes from the other side of the door, and it takes a few eye blinks to realize she might have trouble opening it. I open the door to find Rin directly behind it, looking at us with half interest, half sleepy face. Hello. Miss Tigisa, do you think you're doing? You're absolutely not permitted to use school property for much, disgraceful activity? It sure is certainly very crowded in here. I don't know I was this popular. It's hard to say whether she's happy or unhappy about this turn of events. At any rate, she ignored Shinitun and Mishita's scolding, so they have no choice but to drop the issue. Shinitun taps Misha's shoulder, points at Rin, and makes some quick signs. Popularity aside, please don't do that anymore. Anyway, how is your project going? Will it be done for the festival? Rin looks at them blankly, apparently at ease under the pressure Shinitsun's cold stare is putting on her. I keep wondering about that myself too. What? And? We'll think about it harder. As Misha signs a reply to Shinitsun, her face turns into unsatisfied frown. Miss Keshta, please try to take this seriously. It'll be a disaster if the wall looked like someone threw up their lunch onto it. Oh. Ron nods. Let's just see. We'll think more seriously. Misha actually giggles at that, but Shinitsun doesn't. Not even after translation. She just shakes her head, takes materials from me, and takes off with Mishita in tow. Rin frowns thoughtfully as she looks at the retreating student council duo. How rude. It's true though, I must finish my project before the weekend. There will be a desired consequences if I don't. The end of the world as we know it. Like weekends usually are, but more desire. Much more desire. Maybe I'll postpone my nap to unforsaken future. I'm sure I'm about to ask what project she has and what are the apocalyptic consequences, but she walks back into the art classroom. Since you have nothing to do, would you give me a hand? This paint can doesn't fit into my bag, but I need it. She kicks lightly at the huge can of paint that's lying on the floor next to the table, as she was sitting and sleeping on. It lets out a dull clang. Being the gentleman I am, I naturally pick it up. Heavy. Yeah, sure. Where do you need it? Where do you need to take it? Away. Yeah, thanks for the help. And with that, she takes off to the hallway, me and the paint can following, since there's little choice of us. Either of us. So the paint can now has a personality. Cool. The hallway's quiet and empty now, with Shinitsun and Mishita gone, so we two leave towards the stairwell at the other end. Every 10 or 15 or 20 steps I have to change the can from one hand to another, because the thin handle cuts into my palm. At least it keeps my arms from tiring too fast. Rin rows beside me with an uneven pace that I have trouble matching, or maybe I am walking weird because of the extra weight. It seems one of us is constantly walking too slow or too fast. I can't figure out which. 2 flights of stairs below, trouble appears in the form of the head nurse and his fox-like grin. Oh god. Ah, Mr. Nicky. What a happy coincidence. Kishta too, of course. He nods concert to Rin, who does not acknowledge him back, and then turns to me, because obviously it's me who he had some business with. There is something I forgot to mention on Monday. I nod and wait impassively before I can even begin to guess what he forgot. The feeling of the handle drilling deeper into my skin doesn't make me feel enthusiastic about this interruption either. It's about your medications. Since you haven't been that long on your current medications, there might be some unexpected side effects, which might require the adjusting diagnosis or even changing to another kind of medication. So we will do a few tests regularly, but what I want is for you to keep an eye on everything in your condition. That feels off, if you get what I mean. No. Nausea, headache, anything, and come see me if something happens. Alright. So, how are you? Everything fine? I give up and drop the can to the floor before answering him. Apparently this takes longer than my biceps can handle. I'm about to say something energetic as an answer, but then I realize how often I've done that lately. Generic, should I say. Other people have asked me that too. Teachers and students here. My parents, visitors, nurses, doctors at the hospital. Everyone seems to be concerned about that. It's natural for a hospital, not so much for a school. Except this school. This is a small school, and both the students' base and the seems to be very tightly knit. At least, that's the feeling I'm getting. And it's not that kind of school that gets transfer students too often. The thought sends shivers up my spine, but I give a generic answer anyway. That's great. Also, one other thing. My sources tell me that you've been at either the school track nor the pool, so I'd like to know if you've been taking up exercise as I asked. Of course I haven't, but this way of it gives me that feeling that I should have been running my arse off on the track since the very first day. You have people spying on me. Not as such. I just happen to know a few people. But that's not the issue here, so don't try to slip out of it. Well, I was actually doing some improvised weightlifting as an exercise. I pick up and I lift the can and down a few times like some sad imitation of a bodybuilder, even though it's just weighing down on my arms painfully. The stupid grin disappears from his face for a second, then comes back like it was never gone. Keshta, would you give us a second? The nurse grabs me by the shoulder without waiting for Rin's permission, which he didn't need in the first place, and drags me aside. When I told you to exercise, I wasn't joking. I understand that you're still on your first week and all, but please don't ignore the importance of this. The reason I'm coming down this hard on you is that the habits are not easy to form. The more you slip and postpone, the harder it'll be. It's the same with everything, like dieting. You can promise me to be more serious about this from now on. Well, I don't want to die, so I'll say yes. Yeah, I promise, definitely. He studies me for a moment and then shrugs and smiles again. Okay, that's more like it. If you go to the school track tomorrow morning, you'll meet my spy, who probably has no qualms offering constitution to you, so if you want to jog a bit. Construction. See you around. He leaves with a wave on his hand, and no answer. I walk to Rin, who just been waiting idly against the hallway wall, and staring at the pale lightning fixtures in the ceiling. Even when I approach, she doesn't move her eyes off them. Are you getting medications for your heart thingy? Were you listening? It comes out more extra than I expected. Accidentally leashing out on her. But even so, I don't really want to start talking about it. I just met her. I don't know her. It's not her business. The nurse seems to be happily ignorant about confidentially too, talking about that kind of thing in public. But it's not Rin's fault, is it? I look up at her, suddenly feeling a bit guilty. But Rin is just staring past my shoulder, greasily her head tilted like a bird's. I don't know why this is so hard for me. It feels like there is some inspectable lock that prevents me from being more upfront about this. Yeah, they're for my heart. Will they make you better? No, not really. They just make me a little less worse. Rin keeps looking at me for a little while longer. She neither says anything further nor displays any kind of emotion. I could discern. I'm thankful that she doesn't. I think I'm still not quite used to all this. At the other it was easy, but I still haven't sorted my feelings about having to live a normal life with this disability. Anyway, guys, I'm going to end today's episode right there. Hope you guys all enjoyed this episode and stuff. And remember to do all the normal YouTubey stuff like leaving a comment and, watch all my other videos, liking this, and subscribing if you so desire. But yeah, thank you all for watching. And as always, I'll see you all next time. Until then, everyone. Bye!